Oh, fun stuff. Hey guys, welcome to my full series review for Pluto. Now, Pluto is a seinen science fiction story that is actually a reimagining of one of the storylines in Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy. The series was written and illustrated by Naoki Urasawa, with Takahashi Nagasaki acting as a co-author, and the whole thing was supervised by Osamu Tezuka's son, Makoto Tezuka. And the whole thing was serialized between 2003 and 2009 in Big Comic Original. So Pluto takes place in a futuristic science fiction world where robotics has become so advanced that robots have pretty much integrated themselves into human society. Most of them are still programmed to do a specific function, but their AI has become so advanced that they can pretty much behave like normal people and live normal lives. They can have their own house, they can get married, they can have kids, they can go on vacation. And these are all thanks to the robot laws that were passed in this world that pretty much give all robots the same rights as humans. Now, as is usually the case with things like this, not everyone is super stoked on robots having their rights. But overall, you know, things are pretty chill. It's been 4 years since the last major war. Everything seems cool. That is until one of the most advanced robots in the world, Mont Blanc, the pride of Switzerland, is attacked and destroyed. But this isn't just an isolated case. More advanced robots are getting destroyed, and there's also an ongoing string of murders of prominent scientists and robot rights activists. All of these serial killings are linked together by the murderer leaving a pair of horns in his victims. So of course, people are understandably pretty freaked out. All the super robots are getting killed, as well as a bunch of prominent scientists. Lucky for them though, our protagonist, German ace detective Gesicht, is on the case. He quickly deduces that the murderer is likely to be a robot because there's never any trace left at any of the crime scenes. The puzzling thing though is that not only should a normal robot be able to attack and defeat the most advanced robots in the world, but as a law, robots are not programmed to kill humans. So Gesicht is determined to solve this case and save all the potential victims. He goes to warn all of the advanced robots, all the scientists that could potentially be targeted, and he sets off following a trail of clues to figure out who this killer is, while at the same time being sure to watch his own back, because Gesicht himself is actually one of the most advanced robots in the world. And there you go, that is the story of Pluto, a crazy robot murder mystery. This is my first time reading anything that Naoki Urasawa has done, and I've heard pretty much ever since I started reading manga that he's one of the gods. You know, he's just a manga legend. And I was never really sure why people thought so highly of him, until I read Pluto. Holy shit. This is straight up some of the best writing and storytelling I've seen in a manga ever, period. Now, I'm a fan of mystery stories in general, but this right here is just superb. The mystery itself is very riveting, seeing, you know, Gesicht travel to all around the world to these places, interviewing people trying to find clues, having some pretty intense encounters. But that's not just what makes this series incredible, it's also the interactions between all the humans and robots. You see, the robots in this world are so advanced that oftentimes normal humans just can't tell the difference. But despite being so advanced, they still aren't humans. They definitely don't understand everything the way humans do, and while they can feel emotions, they don't always express themselves the way humans do. But then you have robots like Adam, who are so advanced that it often brings up the question of what it even means to be a human or a robot in the first place. And there's also a lot of really interesting parallels between stuff that happens in Pluto and our world. Like, of course, you got this version of the KKK, who, you know, they hate robots, they commit hate crimes against robots. You know, a lot of people just in general discriminate against the robots just because they aren't humans. And there's also the war I mentioned. There was a war that happened a few years before this series started, and I don't want to get much into it, but it definitely felt like a bit of a parallel to the Iraq War, which would have been going on when the series started. So as you can probably guess, it is a very mature series, some very deep themes, and despite the characters being robots, they're pretty good at conveying emotion. The series definitely isn't all sunshines and rainbows, I'll tell you that. But honestly, every step of the way in this journey in Gesicht's investigation is incredible. I absolutely loved this series. It's only short, 8 volumes long. I was there the entire way. I binged it pretty quickly. Hands down, some of, if not the best writing I have ever seen in a science fiction manga. And while the ending was a bit brief for my tastes, it definitely packed the emotional punch, and it's definitely not something I'll be forgetting anytime soon. Now, as for the characters, I don't really want to go in and talk about each individual one, because since the series is so short, I don't really want to give anything away. But I'm just so impressed with how Urasawa writes these characters. Most of them are robots. There are, of course, some human characters, because you see, he makes the robot characters feel real, feel like real people, yet you're still clearly able to know that these guys are robots. Because they just have these slight differences that set them apart from humans. And you know, it's not a story that's heavy on the character development, it's not really long enough for that, it just feels real. Like if we lived in a world where robots were a part of human society, this story would probably seem pretty grounded in reality, like any other really great detective murder mystery story. Now of course, most of the characters are based off of characters in Astro Boy. Now Astro Boy is not a series I'm that familiar with, but I know it has quite a contrasting tone with Pluto, so I don't really know how all of the characters here compare to their Astro Boy counterparts, but I'm just gonna assume it's a little more grounded in realism here. But yeah, because the story and writing is so good, I really grew attached to a lot of these characters, sometimes a bit too attached for my own good. I should also mention the killer, who I won't give away, but you know, he's built up for a while, and when he is finally revealed, oh, beautiful. I will say though, this mystery is definitely not as simple as just figuring out who the killer is. But yeah, I didn't have any problems with the characters, and they really fleshed out the already amazing story. Next up is the art, and I have to say, Naoki Urasawa, my first time really experiencing a story with his artwork. Yeah, he's a bit of a legend. The artwork in general is just, you know, really solid manga artwork. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's certainly above average. The thing that sets it apart, though, is the way Urasawa draws the faces. The detail he puts into the faces of the characters is really impressive, but not only that, he draws them in such a way that we can learn everything we need to know about a character just based off of their face and their expression. And all of this really helps to create an excellent tone and atmosphere for the series. It especially works well during the more emotional moments of the story where I'm out. Although I should mention, you know, we got some crazy advanced robots. This is a remake of Astro Boy. There are some action scenes, and all of them are pretty excellent. Some very detailed drawings which just add to the tension of some of the scenes. Overall, just some very, very solid artwork. This is one of those series that's so good that not only can I recommend it to everyone, but it's honestly something I'm probably going to reread myself multiple times. Very gripping story with some great themes, an excellent cast of characters, stellar artwork. Pluto is definitely something that should be in your collection. I give it my final score of 10 out of 10. And if you would like to add Pluto to your collection, all 8 volumes are in print and available from Viz Media in the signature editions, and I have to say, the quality of these signature editions is pretty excellent. These are no more expensive than Tokyo Ghoul, and honestly the quality beats the shit out of those. If you're interested in checking out the source material, you of course have Astro Boy the manga, like the 50 different Astro Boy TV shows, and of course my personal favorite, the 2009 American animated film.
I got machine guns in my butt?
Man, I have to say, I am definitely making it a priority to pick up more of Naoki Urasawa's works. I know we got Monster and Master Keaton are all out in English. I think the whole series are done, or if not, then they're almost done. And I'm pretty sure 20th Century Boys is getting a hardcover reprint, so I'll definitely be keeping my eye on that. But yeah, expect to see a lot more of Urasawa in 2018. But anyway, with that, thank you all so much for watching. You can leave your thoughts on Pluto in the comments below, and I'll see you guys soon for my review of the Red and Blue storyline in Pokemon Adventures. Celebrate those new fancy Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, whatever the fuck's that.